June 6th through the 8th, I will be in Dania Beach, Florida at the Dania Improv. June 13th through the 15th, I'm in Chicago, Illinois. Well, Schaumburg, Illinois. That's the Chicago Improv. As everyone knows, that's the suburbs. June 19th, I am in Des Moines, Iowa at the Funny Bone in Des Moines. June 20th through the 22nd, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri at the Kansas City Funny Bone. June 26th through the 28th, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Comedy Zone. And July 12th, I will be in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Pearl Theater inside the Palms Casino.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen, the Get Some podcast. And my guest this week is...
This motherfucker Gary.
Hey, I am recording this episode from the lovely, beautiful Northwest. I am in Tacoma, Washington with, this is where we do the Gary and Nate podcast, which you guys should be watching. And then that's me and Nate Jackson. We got a new podcast going strong. And so when I come up here to record ours, he's gracious enough to let me use his studio. It's a beautiful studio. And I record mine. So let me see what I want to talk about. Update on the robbery from last week. Still nothing. I haven't seen the video. I know Lifetime Fitness sent the video to the police department, and they have it. And oops, I just said what gym it was. Yep, it was a Lifetime Fitness. Parking lot of a Lifetime Fitness is where I got my car broken into last week. So far, I haven't seen the video. Did confirm it was they definitely one black guy, maybe two. I'm pretty sure it was two black guys. That's what the people playing pickleball reported to the police. I didn't want to be black. I was like, please don't be black. Please don't be black. God, why? It's weird when if you're a white dude, and I was hoping I'd never be in this situation where I got robbed or mugged or anything. But as soon as you find out it's black, you're like, when I'm on my podcast or when I'm talking about on social media, it's almost like the white guilt kicks in. Like, that's who it was. Because you're gonna get people that get triggered just by saying black people or black guys. And but that is the description of the people that broke in my car. So wherever you're at, I hope you're enjoying what you stole. It's gonna be short-lived because you're gonna end up with a shitty life. You can't go your whole life stealing from people without eventually getting caught. Hell, even Frank Lucas got caught. Come on now. Everybody gets caught eventually. So I take great comfort in knowing your life sucks. I am not one of these people like product of your environment. I wasn't raised good. I don't care. And you know right from wrong. And when you're breaking in people's cars and stealing, it's just wrong. Just like any other thing. I was raised in a trailer park. I didn't have no money. I wasn't robbing people. I think I saw, you guys remember the UFC fighter Kimbo Slice? He wasn't raised well at all. And he always said he's a black dude. He's big. He's menacing looking. He's an intimidating dude. And and rest in peace. That brother always, 2 years before he died, he came to see me a couple times when I was in Miami at the Coconut Grove Improv at the time. He was just the nicest guy. But he's an intimidating looking dude from the outside. And he always said, like, when people see me, they automatically might jump to conclusions. And he goes, I wanted to never give anybody a reason to think I was a thug, even though my appearance would scare people initially. He said, he said in an interview, he goes, I always knew right from wrong. I always knew no matter what, you can't be hurting people or robbing people like that. When I say hurting people, I don't mean fighting sanctioned fights or the backyard fights he got famous for. I'm talking about literally hurting an innocent person for no reason other than your own personal gain or you want to steal from them. So, yeah, I really hope the dudes that did this, I hope you go to jail for a long time eventually, even if it's not for what you did to me. I just hope, and I know your life sucks because if you're breaking in people's cars, that means you're basically saying my life is terrible. So I take great solace in that you guys are pieces of shit. Yeah. And I'm not one of these guys that forgive you. Like if you make it to heaven, we could talk about it there. But other than that, I don't ever want to see you again. And I love it when people like say, you left cash in the car? I was like, yeah. Here's the funny thing. When I went to the gym, I have heard that, and not just this lifetime, other gyms too, people break into lockers at the gym. So literally I had that thought before I walked in. I go, I'm going to take this cash in the gym with me. But then I said, well, in my mind, I was like, it's easier to break into the little locker than it would be my car. You break into my car, that's going to take some effort. And prove that I was wrong. So it happens. But I'm just thankful that was money that I wasn't even accounting for. Like I said, I went to Bank of America. I was closing the account. I hadn't even thought about that account in a couple years. And I didn't really know how much money was in there. And I'm just glad because if it would have got stolen out of my normal bank accounts that I use, every time I would go to look at my balance, I would look at it and be like, even if it was like $1,000 that was stolen and I had $1 million in my account, I would say, dang, I should have $1 million and $1,000. $1,000,001. Or how would that be? $1,001,000. That's what I should have. But I only have $1 million. That would eat at me a little bit. But the fact that I wasn't even accounting for this money, it doesn't hurt as bad. And I'm blessed to not, I'm blessed to have, it's not affecting my lifestyle. It's not like messing me up like that. So, because it's funny, it happened in Houston, and I love the city of Houston, by the way. There's just a couple pieces of shit, just like there are in every major city. But it's funny, like you get robbed, and then people start sending you all this stuff about other robberies, things like that. And I felt so bad. There was a family that went to the bank. They withdrew $9,000 because they were going to buy their son a car. I think he just graduated college or he was leaving for college. And they literally went into a restaurant to get food to go. They stopped at a restaurant to grab some food to take back to the house. And that fast, somebody followed them from the bank, broke into the car. They got video of it and everything. And I was like, oh. And it was in Houston, so of course people sent it to me. I felt bad because you could tell they needed that $9,000 and they had worked hard and they had saved up to give their son this gift. And that really bothered me more than me. I was like, oh my gosh, so. But it was crazy because the dad goes, I forgive the people that did this because clearly they needed the money more than us. And I was like, fuck that. That's a piece of shit. That's a piece of shit that broke into their car. Well, it could be the same people. Who knows? And the people that broke into my car are pieces of shit. And I'll just leave it at that. You piece of shits. So yeah. So I'm lying. It does bother me a little bit because you feel violated. I don't care if they stole. I was more upset that there was 95 cents in the envelope and they took the 95 cents too. I was like, damn, you took the change? You took the 3 quarters and the 2 dimes? I mean, you could have left the 95 cents, you pieces of shit. But you probably needed that. So enjoy that. I'm sure you guys are going to do financially sound things with the money. So that's the update on the robbery. So why I was, now that I'm in Tacoma, and when I do, me and Nate, we do the first Monday of every month at his comedy club. And why we do that is, one, it gives me, I can make some extra money when I come to Tacoma. Nate does pay me in a check, so you ain't robbing me this week. But after my show last night, or the other night, I do a meet and greet, and this girl comes up to the meet and greet. And here's what I noticed about her. One, very loud. I knew it was coming. And she had a white sweatsuit on, and her drink was dark liquor, and she had kind of spilt it on her sweatsuit a little bit. So she walked up, she had her drink out. I'm looking at her like, please don't spill that on me. So I'm keeping my distance from her a little bit. And then she's so loud and obnoxious. And this is why I never do this to comedians, people, ever. This gets on our nerves. We can't stand it. It turns us off. We don't want to hang out with you. We don't want to talk to you anymore. Don't critique our act right there in the moment, and don't try to tell us what we should be saying on stage if you're not in the business. I'll take if anybody wants to add on to a bit or tell me move this over here or try something different. If you're a comedian, and I don't even care if you're an open micer, if you've gotten on that stage and tried to tell jokes, I go, I'll listen to you. I'm not above this. What are you talking about? I had a guy in Captain Brian's in Marco Island. I had a local guy open up for me, and he gave me a tag to a joke, and that shit worked. I said, all right, I'm gonna try it. It worked every time. It was a couple years ago. That joke was in one of my specials, but my feature act for the weekend, just like, hey, that joke's funny, man. Hey, try to tag it with this. And he didn't say like, it's not funny. He was like, just, hey, if you want, give it a shot. You know, I was like, all right. And I really thought about it in my brain. I go, that was a good button on that joke. And I started using it, and it became a part of my act. And I was like, so I'm not above anybody that's ever been on stage to give me advice. But if you ain't a stand-up and you're just watching my act, please don't come up to me and tell me what I shouldn't be saying. That's what she did. It's one thing to say, hey, I got a joke. We get that all the time. And 99% of the time, we don't want to hear the joke, and we're never going to use it. And don't be like, you can use that. That's the worst too. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. You can use that. I'm like, oh yeah, because I was struggling. But the girl tried to critique one of my jokes and told me, don't say this joke, and it's too long, and I lost the audience. By the way, I think it's my strongest joke right now. Out of my core act going into my next special, I think it's my strongest joke. And I'm going, so I told her, I said, oh yeah, I'm definitely keeping it. In fact, I'm going to make it my closer from now on, because I kind of put it in the middle of my act right now. And I just had the audacity to come up to me and say things like that. Hey, you had a great show, but hey, the joke about the deaf girl, yeah, that joke, it's too long. You lost the audience. By the way, the audience was holding their guts, their bellies. I think it could have been one of the biggest laughs for a story joke. You got the jokes that are like the punchline, boom, 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 boom. But then you got those stories. So this joke might be 8 minutes right now, from beginning to end, but it's a timeline. It's a relationship joke. It's how I dated this deaf girl in DC when I first got there at 18 years old. And it's a true story. It was one of the first bits I ever wrote when I did Comic View. And so you're looking at something that I thought of 25 years ago. But it was totally different. Back then it was very elementary school. Now I'm actually talking about this 3-4 month relationship I had when I first moved to DC, and I dated a girl from Gallaudet University. And what lets me know that this girl has no clue what she's talking about, and she should probably keep that type of stuff to herself. Couple things. I would never go to Joe Burrow and tell him how to throw a pass. I've never played pro football, but I bet you Joe Burrow, Tom Brady, anybody else, any of these great quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, if another quarterback came up to them, whether it's their backup or just on another team, and gave him a little bit of advice, like, hey, man, you're opening up your hips too much when you throw the 8-yard out route. I noticed that on film or something. I bet you even those guys would listen to another quarterback. He ain't listening to me. I wouldn't. It's like me going to I don't know, LeBron James and telling him to follow through on his 3-point shot. That's what you're doing. That's the equivalent. It's like me going to Floyd Mayweather and telling him how to the jabs are getting through, Floyd. You got to cross your gloves and do this shit. I would never. That's what you're doing when you come up to comedians and try to tell us a joke or tell us what we should be doing wrong or what jokes we should be eliminating. So this lets me know more than anything, this girl has no idea what she's talking about. Joe Coy saw this, what is now this bit about me dating a deaf girl in DC. And please, in the comment section, if you see me live in the last 3 months, and that's how long I've been telling this joke, comment if you like it or not. And we'll let that decide if this girl was right or wrong. But listen, Joe Coy saw the bit. He called me at least 5 times to tell me how funny it is, to tell me, oh my God, keep that in your act, put that in your next special. And how the joke came about was I was kind of doing crowd work. I was talking to somebody who was talking about living in DC. And I said, yeah, I told the story. And it was very choppy, but there was something there. And then Joe saw it and called me and was like, yo, keep that. I think that's your funniest bit you've ever told. And like I said, it's a story, though. It's not a setup, middle, punchline, ba-doom, boom. No, I got to have, if I'm on the ensemble shows and I only got 20 minutes on stage, it's probably a joke I wouldn't do because it takes so much time. Like I said, on average, it's 8. Sometimes that joke can go 10 to 12, but the payoff is huge. So, yeah, shouts out to that girl. And note to self, don't wear white if you're going to drink like colorful liquor and you're going to be sauced because it gets all over you. So, no different than, God, I was in Phoenix last week and I had an after party and this one dude came up and when I walked, it was actually a dope play. If you're in Phoenix, and shouts out to Stand Up Live. I didn't give you guys your flowers. Great club. Love that place. Staff's amazing. My son came out. We got to hang out. But I had an after party at this place called the Spin Room inside Stadium Sports Bar. It's downtown. The Spin Room is a speakeasy, but it is, if you like 90s, 2000s hip-hop R&B, trust me, you definitely want to find out how to get into the Spin Room in Phoenix. It was a dope vibe. As soon as I walked in, I go, oh, okay. Because I'm aging myself out of going out to nightclubs and stuff like that. And I don't want to be in crowds like that. I'm an extroverted introvert. And so anytime anybody's asking me to do after parties now, sometimes I'm hesitant. I used to just love them, but now I'm like, how much are we talking? And what's the vibe? And how many people and everything? As soon as I walked in, I go, okay, this is dope. Everybody was cool, respectful. I told everybody, there was a line. It was like a meet and greet. I took pictures for about the first 20 minutes I was there. Everybody was real cool. You always got the one, little drunk, can't get the camera right, trying to do videos. I'm like, no videos, just pictures. Because here's the thing. When you start doing videos, then people start wanting demands. Then they want you to say something. Say something, it's my son's birthday. Or you're my grandma's favorite. Or they're FaceTiming somebody. So I'm like, the promoter said, what do you want? I said, pictures are fine all day, no videos. So, but everyone was pretty respectful of that. And I never got the people that you could tell they're recording you. And I'm like, what are they doing? Like, it's such a violation of privacy sometimes. You'll see somebody they're not asking. They're just recording you. It's like, what are you getting out of that? Just a picture. Come and ask. 90% of the time I'm going to say yes. Airport, restaurant when you're out to eat. Yeah, don't come up to me when they're eating. But when they're done eating or any other time, just ask for a pic. Most time we'll say yes. Don't get the sneaky videos. I think I told the story about my old opener saw Lil Bootsy passed out at LAX. Not passed out, it was a morning flight. And Bootsy was asleep waiting on his plane. And my opener at the time took a video of him and he posted it. I said, if you don't take that down right now. He goes, what? I go, take it down. It was up for like a minute on his Instagram. And he put like, Bootsy must have had a long night or something. I go, bro, that's a complete violation of his privacy. I said, I would be mad if somebody did that to me. So he took it down. I will say that. And here's a crazy part about that Bootsy day, that me and my opener, when we saw him, and this is pre-COVID, this is probably 2018, 18 or 19. We see Lil Bootsy at LAX. He's asleep, but it's like a 6 a.m. flight. So you see people, he's asleep. I don't even know who's with him because he's sitting by himself, but he does have people with him. We're flying from LA to Salt Lake City was a layover. So Bootsy got on before me. We were both in first class, but he was like in 2A. I was like in 4A. So I had to walk by him. So he was asleep before the plane took off and had the blanket completely over him. Like that type of sleep. It almost like a Muslim woman because you couldn't see his face. I was like, he's out like that. Some people can sleep on planes immediately. I take a minute to fall asleep normally. That's the second person I've seen, a celebrity, put the entire blanket over them. 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz was on a flight. I was on a flight with him from Detroit to LAX, and it was for the BET Awards. It was the day of the BET Awards. And I didn't know he was there. He was performing. And he was on that plane, and that blanket was over him the whole flight. I was like, so Bootsy and 2 Chainz, they take the plane blankets and completely engulf themselves in them. And so back to the Bootsy story. We get off the plane. We're in Salt Lake City. Bootsy looks at his people and goes, hey, man, where's my cell phone? Where's my cell phone? And everybody was looking at each other. Dude, Bootsy snapped on his people. He goes, y'all motherfucker lost my cell phone. Well, technically, you did too. Everybody lost your cell phone. They immediately, wherever they were going, plans changed. They caught a flight back to LA to find his cell phone. I was like, Bootsy was like, fuck that, man. We gotta get back to LA. So wherever they was going, they weren't going. They went to the ticket agent and say, where's the next LA flight? And Bootsy and like 4 dudes walked away they go from LA to Salt Lake City. Now they're going from Salt Lake City back to LA to get his cell phone. I was like, I'm guessing somebody got fired that day. I don't know. Was somebody hold a cell phone? I'm guessing it was in his pocket and it dropped out. So I'm assuming they knew where the phone was because you're not just going to go back. I'm sure they have track your iPhone or somebody picked up and told them. But I was just like, they're going back to LA. What was on the cell phone? What was on that cell phone? I would have just took the L. I would have shut it down. Boop, boop. That's it. I've left the cell phone on a plane before once where it fell out of my pocket. Man, I've lost an iPad on planes. I lost a cell phone once. And the guy, I guess, cleaned the plane, got it. And then we were in Atlanta, which is shocking that I got my phone back. And he picked up and we was like, yo, I left my phone. He goes, yeah, I work here. I work at Atlanta Airport. And he walked outside and met us. We pulled around and he met us outside the airport, me and my old road manager, Brad. And he pulled up, gave his cell phone. And I gave him a little cash for it. And then he was like, he goes, hey, man, I get it, man. I got a cell phone. I don't know how I feel if I lost it. And it was a black guy. So I want to make sure I stress that because I don't want people thinking this is all black guys are criminals type episode because black guys did rob me. But a black guy also returned my cell phone. Boom. And the loud girl at the comedy club was not black and she was not white. I don't know what color she was. She was different. I don't know what she was. I don't know if she had Asian in her, Mexican in her. She was mixed with something that I wasn't familiar with. Indian, I don't know. She was just a different looking girl that should not have wore that white sweatsuit, especially when she was drinking dark liquor because it was everywhere. It's interesting that she would critique my act like that. And then it got me thinking, like, how some of my strongest bits over my career, it's interesting how you look back and how they all came to be. Hey, this podcast is brought to you by Blue Chew. Now listen, I say this all the time. Every man could use a little extra help, a little nudge, a little, I don't know, a little peace of mind in the bedroom to know you're going to handle business with 100% confidence you're going to deliver. We're like a boxer that has that knockout punch. We want to hit the. I'm sorry, that was a little rough, but yeah, that's what we're like. And basically, what I'm saying is, every dude can use an extra hand in the bedroom. So why not get help with the extra leg? How about that? Yeah, this just got dark. But listen, let's bring it back. Let's focus. Blue Chew, baby. All they want to do, they want to make your life easier by getting harder. And you can do that. You can discover your options at bluechew.com. And right now, we have got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month of Blue Chew free when you use the promo code GETSOME. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's promo code GETSOME. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And as always, we thank you, Blue Chew, for sponsoring this podcast. Blue Chew. Hey, this podcast is brought to you by Magic Spoon. Now listen, I got introduced to Magic Spoon during COVID. My manager, who's one of the most conscious people of what she puts into her body, said, hey, Gary, she knows I'm a cereal guy. I'm a breakfast guy. I'm a snacker. She was like, yo, you ever tried Magic Spoon? I was like, I didn't even know what it was. So she brought out every flavor of cereal. I felt like I was at a taste testing, and I tried every one. I was like, dang. And you know, I'm a chocolate guy. I like that cocoa. So that's my personal favorite. Because not only that, the good thing about chocolate and cocoa is even when you're done eating, you get to drink the milk. It's like a free glass of chocolate milk. So listen, Magic Spoon, I don't want to give misinformation. So this is what you have to know about Magic Spoon. Every serving of Magic Spoon high protein cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar. Let me repeat that. 0 grams of sugar and 4 grams of net carbs. And it tastes good. That's the biggest thing. It tastes good. I'm not going to tell you something that ain't good if I'm not going to do a promo for something if it don't taste good. Nah. I'll leave it at that. You know something tastes good when you do this. You can't even bring that. You ain't got to say nothing. What are you talking about? So listen, this is a special offer we got. $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/getsome. That's, let me repeat that. Get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/getsome. Or you can look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/getsome. $5 off. Tell me you don't like this cereal. Tasty. Good. 0 grams. Sugar, baby. All right. Magic Spoon. Thank you again. It was like the black church joke. I was living in LA at the time, and this is what I'm talking about, the difference between the black and the white church. That was the Comedy Act Theater in LA, and I was a weekend one night, and David Arnold, rest in peace. God, this episode's, you don't realize how many people you lose over the years. I just talked about Kimbo Slice and now David Arnold. But David, I think, was hosting, and I started talking about the difference between black and white churches. And I used to have a bit that would bring the house down. It was the difference between black and white Holy Ghost. And I did on Comic View. And I did it the first time I did it on Comic View when I hosted it, and it set the tone for the whole season. That bitch got set off. And so it started out the difference between Black and White Holy Ghost. And I remember I used to like say white people catch it and be like, oh, thank you, Jesus. You're so powerful. You're in me. And I walk around real calm and everything. I go, but black people, they be jumping around, dancing, going through the aisles and stuff. And I like was doing a dance with no music and I kind of dropped to the ground. When I dropped to the ground, they used to have a band at the Comedy Act Theater. And all of a sudden, they start playing like gospel music, like upbeat gospel music. And it was like the way it happened was so organic. I looked up and then I started dancing around and the crowd went fucking nuts. And I was like, oh, I got something here. And then I started like listening to all this gospel music and I found like this guy, Reverend James Moore, had a CD out. And I used to take that CD. I protected that CD with my life. Because there was about a year, my closer was the Black Holy Ghost, and it brought the house down every time. And I protected that CD with my life. Because that was before you could just put it on your phone and, email it or you could text a song to anybody or download it. You had to carry them CDs with you back in the day. And then after that joke kind of played out, I was like, oh, there's so much material here in the church. And I always thought there was a market for everything. So I always thought, at the beginning of my career, I was always doing colleges. So you're doing like, I had a lot of jokes just for the college kids. And what I learned with colleges was you got to have a strong opener, a strong closer. Everything else is fluff because their attention span is really short. But I had a booming opening joke and a booming closing joke. So whatever happened in between didn't really matter. I was going to kill him in the beginning. I was going to kill him in the end. And colleges, that's all they're going to talk about. Did he get off good or did he end bad? And then, so after that kind of joke kind of played out, I started always trying to work out more black church jokes. And then I was like, the black and white church. Yeah, that was a pretty solid bit. The biggest between black and white churches, and how long black churches are. That was the one. Then it just evolved into the timing, how long black churches take compared to white churches. So that's how that joke came about. I think one joke that might not be like, what would you call it, an iconic bit? What was a strong bit for a time? Was the superhead joke. The girl that, still to this day, the greatest blowjob I've ever seen on camera was by this girl, Corinne Steffens. I mean, she should just tour the country and do BJ 101. It was that good on tape. This is how that joke came about. When I did the whole superhead, she spit on it and then she did like a grind the pepper. And I was like, and if it's small, you just adjust the telescope, I said she was sucking it like she was grinding pepper. And they go, and ladies, if your man's thing is small, adjust the telescope. Adjust the telescope. So that show came out was so random. I had never heard of this girl, Corinne Steffens. I didn't know who she was. I never heard the term superhead. So I'm in Tampa, and my boy Ricky Pride, he had a little gathering at his house, and I drove from Cincinnati to Tampa for this, to do the Tampa Improv, which is now the Tampa Funny Bone at the time. And Ricky, we went straight to Ricky's house when we got to Tampa, and he had a little, I don't want to say party. It was just like 20 people over, hung out. And I remember Ricky put me in a room and goes, you got to see this shit. And he had like this big 100-inch TV, surround sound. It was like a studio in his house because he DJs. And he put that on, and I'm watching this girl give the most amazing blowjob I've ever seen in my life on this Mr. Honey versus Mr. Marcus is what it was called. And, he was like, yeah, Mr. Marcus was like, yeah, I got this chick, man. She's new. I can't remember her name. And then she just yells out, it's Honey, motherfucker. He goes, yeah, Honey. And Mr. Marcus was a porno legend, and he couldn't make it. He couldn't make it like a minute and a half with her because she was that good at what she did. Every woman should watch Honey versus Mr. Marcus if you want to learn how to satisfy your dude properly. He's got this shit in surround sound though. So I'm sitting here hearing every noise she's making, every spit, gurgle. I don't want to imitate it because I don't want to disgust people, but it was intense. I just walked out there. I go, what? I remember I walked out of his like little DJ room that he's got the big TVs and surround sound. I go, what the fuck was that? And what's it called? I started talking about that video that weekend. I said, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I just saw it and I just kept. Some people saw it. Some people saw it. Some people had seen it, but they couldn't admit they saw it because it was with their girl, you know? But that whole trip was interesting because my cousin, shouts out to my cousin, Jerry. Jerry goes, hey man, he was getting a divorce at the time. This is like 18, 19 years ago. I had already got my flight to Tampa. So I was flying from Cincinnati to Tampa. And he goes, yo, can I go to Tampa with you? He goes, I just got to get out of town. And da-da-da. I swear I got my flight. He goes, I'll drive. I was like, all right. I said, but bro, Jerry's great, but he's a little irresponsible. So he said, I said, you got to be at my house by 7. I was like, because if not, I'm going to the airport and catching my flight. He goes, all right. 7 comes. Jerry's nowhere to be found. I think it was earlier than 7. No, it was earlier because we beat morning rush hour. It was 6. Jerry's nowhere to be found. So I'm loading up my car. I'm getting ready to pull up my driveway. Here comes Jerry in this Chrysler 300. Dark blue Chrysler 300. I'll never forget it. He's speeding down my road. I'm literally closing my trunk. And I was like, shoot. He goes, I told you, man, I'll make it. It's probably 6:05. I unload my bag, put it in the trunk of his car. Jerry goes, you mind driving the first leg? Because his birthday was the night before, and he had partied all night. I get in this dude's car. It smelled like weed, liquor, sweat. I go, what were you doing? And then he got the nerve to put air fresheners in it, which made it worse. It didn't dilute the smell. It actually enhanced it. So we drive from Cincinnati to Tampa. And I just remember he slept. We got just into Tennessee, and I stopped. We stopped at a Wendy's to get something to eat. I wake him up. He gets up. I'm in the drive-thru. He goes, just give me some chili. So I got him some chili. He woke up. He drank the chili like soup or like coffee. I was like, it was so disgusting because it was so hot. You could see the steam coming out of the side of the chili, and he's doing. He's sucking it down and blowing out at the same time. It was the nastiest way I've ever seen a person eat chili in my life. So then he goes back to sleep. We are 40 minutes outside of Atlanta, about 40 minutes outside of Atlanta. He finally wakes up. He's like, where we at, man? I said, we're almost in Atlanta. I said, you about ready to drive? He's, all right, yeah, that's good. Keep in mind, Atlanta's 8 hours from Cincinnati. So I've been going for 8. All of a sudden, I pull over. He gets in the car. That's when we saw the sign that said Atlanta 40 miles. He goes, hey, man, you said we were almost there. I go, bro, we're driving like 1,000. So we're driving almost 1,000 miles. So 40 miles, you're pretty close when you're dealing with 1,000-mile trip. In fact, let me see. How far is Cincinnati to Tampa? 916 miles. So we're dealing with 900 miles. And 40 miles outside Atlanta, he acted like I was so far off. So then Jerry starts driving. He's driving like we're on the run. The whole time he's driving, he's doing like 100. And he's got his head on a swivel the whole time. He's like, he's always looking for cops. You know what I mean? I was like, what are you doing? But I tell you what, that motherfucker was hauling ass. We got to Tampa so fast with him driving. I was chugging along at 75. Dude, I rarely saw that car go below 100 miles an hour. We got to Atlanta to Tampa so fast. And I just remember at one point, he lit up a joint. So the Chrysler 300, he had the ceiling of the car. It was like, the cloth. He had cut a slit in the front where the windshield goes, and then the inside top part meets at the ceiling. He had cut a slit in there and put like his weed in there, and he pulled a baggie of weed out. He was like, shoo. He just already had one rolled. Then he was like, just got the window down. I go, what is going on right now? Well, there's where the weed smell came from in the car. And so we ended up getting to Tampa that night. So if we did 70 miles. Yeah, we got there night. So we left at 6 a.m. And so let's do the math here. If we would have went 70 miles an hour, which is probably our average, because you stop for gas, stop and get something to eat, take a piss. So let me see, at 70 miles an hour, 700 miles would be 10 hours. So 770 would be 11. 840 would be 12. 910 would be 13. That makes sense. Leave at 6 a.m. We got the Rickies at night, 9 or 10 at night when we got there. So that makes sense. So my memory is correct with that one. So, and then we got there and Ricky goes, you got to watch this. So that's how the Superhead joke came about. And that's how my cousin Jerry was, he got us there pretty fast. So listen, last thing I want to touch on is Dez Bryant is catching a little heat because he was talking about, we're just pushing gay stuff down people. So there's like all these NFL teams are like promoting gay pride and all this stuff. And I think there was only 12 teams that didn't pump gay pride, and one of them was the Bengals. Shouts out to my squad. Let me see. Dez Bryant. I want to get the teams that didn't acknowledge it. Pushes back against NFL gay pride advocacy. Yeah, I agree with Dez on this. We're forcing it in people's. He says we're kind of pushing gay down people's throats. Oh, pause. We're kind of like pushing the gay agenda when NFL when it doesn't have to be. I don't think the NFL should be advocating straight or gay. It's just not needed. It's football. I just think we're doing way too much. So I know he's catching heat from this, and this isn't gay hate. I would say the same for straight. I would say the same for anything, any trans, anything. It's so pointless to me. I don't go to football games. I could be sitting next to gay guys. If you were for the Bengals, we friends. I don't care. If you trans and you were for the Bengals, we're friends. I don't care if you're gay or straight. I don't care what your sex. I don't care if you're bi. I don't care. And 90% of NFL fans don't care. We focus on our team. I don't care about that. I don't know who got behind this, but just keep it what it is. Let's focus on football, not gay or straight. Let me see the 12 teams that did not join. 12 teams didn't join gay pride. 12 didn't join gay pride NFL. Okay. 10 teams NFL did not post Pride Month mentions this Sunday. Okay, here we go. I'm going to read this. Pride Month is officially underway, though 10 notable NFL franchise reported did not post official messages on Sunday. Sunday, June 1st, marked the start of Pride Month. The month, which runs from June 1 to June 30th, honors the LGBTQ community. It was officially recognized back in the 1990s when President Clinton announced Gay and Lesbian Pride Month, expanded in 2011, President Obama. Okay, President Trump notably declined to offer federal recognition of the holiday in 2017. Though he has to get some measures of support. So, according to a report, 10 NFL teams did not post messages at the official start of Pride Month on Sunday, June 1st. The 10 NFL teams that reported did not post Pride Month messages are Dallas Cowboys. We knew Jerry Jones wasn't doing it. New York Jets, Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts, Las Vegas Raiders, New Orleans Saints, Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles. Let me see. The Falcons declined to join last year. The Falcons, Packers, and Broncos declined to join gay pride observance last year, but have already done so this year. The Colts did it last year, but have not done so far. I just think it's stupid. And I know I might kiss some heat. I see what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did. They did a rainbow thing. The Rams, California and Seattle, they're going to do it. For Pride Month 2025, the Rams are continuing our commitment to the LGBTQ and community through our presence at Pride celebrations, our amplification of ambassador stories, and our outreach across LA. We encourage our fans to join us in celebrating the LGBTQ community this month and all year long. Not happening. I think they're doing too much. I really do. I might catch a little heat from this. That's fine. It sounds good. It's good PR, but nobody gives a shit. NFL fans don't give a shit. We really don't. We want to root for our team, boy. I don't care. I ain't ever went to an NFL game and said, who you fuck. I've never done it. I can care less. If you root for my squad, we're good. We're cool. You can be bi. You can be gay. You can be LGBTQ. You can be the whole alphabet. I don't care. If you like the Bengals, we have something in common. And we cool. So, just do it too much. I don't care. Straight or gay. Same when it comes to players. In every line of work, what do they say? One out of every 8 guys or 10 guys are gay. So chances are you have rooted for a gay person. And I think I've talked to so many professional athletes, basketball, football, and they all say the same thing. Yeah. They've known guys that was gay that didn't come out. I think the WNBA is, you ain't got to say it. We know. We could tell. That's obvious. Just look at the post-game fit or the pre-game fit at WNBA. You know who's gay. I don't think people care. I don't. And I think most people I know a lot of football players, I know a lot of football fans, and we could care less. I mean, there's been quite a few openly gay athletes recently that have come out why they're playing, and I didn't think nothing of it. Was it Carl Nassib? The guy was on the Buccaneers and I think the Raiders. If he could ball, fans still rooting for him. I don't care who he dates. I mean, it doesn't affect me. I could care less. All right. Get out there and ball, baby. I'm rooting for you if you're on my team. I'm rooting against you if you're not. So, this is what it is. I think we're doing too much. So, yep. Let me get that heat going. But it's just, tell me if I'm wrong. All right. And I bet you the people that are commenting aren't sports fans. I bet you people that are upset about this are not sports fans. And I can almost guarantee the people that put all the pressure on the NFL to do it really don't give a shit about the NFL. They just trying to get an agenda across. We don't care. We could care less. So enjoy this month. If just enjoy this month with all the rainbows and not your team colors. So, like I said, this is not hate speech. Don't twist my words. I'm just saying I root for the Cincinnati Bengals, and that's it. I've never went to a game and worried about who somebody was sleeping with. I'm worried about, are we going to get that dub today? That's all I'm worried about. I'm worried about, is Joe Burrow healthy? That's all I'm worried about. You don't think, listen, I know he's not, but if Joe Burrow was gay, if he was gay, I'd probably be an advocate right now. I'd probably be like, yeah, gay pride, Joe Burrow. Ooh. If Joe Burrow was gay, every every rainbow would be sold out. My whole house would be a rainbow. That's how much I like Joe Burrow. All right? So this ain't no hate speech. If Joe Burrow was gay, oh my God. I would make a rainbow outside my house every day. I'd put a magnifying glass, let the sun come, and I'd pour water, and that rainbow would be every day. Guaranteed. Boom. Bag it. Get it. All right, y'all. This is Gary Owen. I'll see you next week. The Get Some Podcast.
This motherfucker Gary.